Have you ever found yourself thinking, I just don't have the energy I used to? Maybe it's after climbing a flight of stairs, or maybe it's during those moments when you're trying to keep up with your grandkids. It's frustrating, isn't it? You know your body's changing, but sometimes it feels like you're losing ground faster than you'd like. And if you've ever felt that tightness in your chest after a little extra effort, it can be downright scary. But here's the thing. Your heart is still capable of doing amazing things, even as you age. You just need to give it the right kind of care. That's why today we're going to talk about something incredibly important: how the foods you eat can either protect your heart or put it at risk. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to add to your plate and what to avoid to keep your heart strong and healthy for years to come. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Have you ever thought about how much oats could do for your heart? I'm talking about good old-fashioned oatmeal, not the sugary packets, but the kind you can jazz up with fresh fruit or a sprinkle of cinnamon. Oats are packed with a special type of fiber called beta-glucan. This fiber works like a sponge, soaking up cholesterol in your bloodstream and helping flush it out of your body. Lower cholesterol means clearer arteries, which means your heart doesn't have to work so hard to pump blood. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I've heard this before. But here's the kicker. It's not just about eating oats once in a while. It's about making them a regular part of your routine. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't skip a day, would you? Well, your heart deserves the same kind of daily care. Try swapping out that bagel or sugary cereal for a bowl of oatmeal a few times a week. Your heart will thank you for it. Next, let's talk about fatty fish. Now, I know not everyone loves seafood, but hear me out. Fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. These aren't just fancy buzzwords. They're essential fats that your body can't produce on its own. Omega-3s help reduce inflammation, improve blood flow, and even lower your risk of heart disease. If you've ever felt stiff or achy after sitting for too long, inflammation might be playing a role. Adding more omega-3s to your diet can help ease that discomfort while also giving your heart a boost. If fish isn't your thing, don't worry. You can still get omega-3s from other sources. Flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts are great plant-based options. In fact, let's take a moment to talk about walnuts. These little guys are shaped like tiny brains, and they're just as good for your heart as they are for your mind. Walnuts are rich in antioxidants and healthy fats, and studies show they can help lower blood pressure and improve circulation. Keep a small container of them in your pantry for a quick snack, or sprinkle them over salads and yogurt. Just a handful a day can make a big difference. Now here's where things get really interesting. Did you know that leafy greens can actually help your heart stay young? We're talking spinach, kale, Swiss chard. All those veggies you probably grew up hearing were good for you. Turns out, they're even better than we realized. Leafy greens are packed with nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps relax your blood vessels, improving blood flow and reducing strain on your heart. I'll admit, I wasn't always a fan of greens myself. For years, I thought they were bland and boring. But then I discovered how versatile they can be. Throw a handful of spinach into a smoothie, saute some kale with garlic and olive oil, or toss Swiss chard into a soup. Before you know it, you'll be wondering how you ever lived without them. Plus, there's something incredibly satisfying about knowing you're doing something so good for your body. Speaking of satisfaction, let's move on to berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. They're all bursting with flavor and nutrients. Berries are loaded with antioxidants, which fight off oxidative stress and help keep your arteries flexible. Think of them as nature's candy. They're sweet, delicious, and perfect for satisfying a craving without derailing your health goals. Add them to your morning oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or enjoy them as a dessert. Either way, your heart will love you for it. Now that we've covered some of the foods that protect your heart, let's shift gears a little. Because while adding the right foods to your diet is crucial, it's just as important to know what to avoid. After all, even the best efforts can be undone by certain choices. Let's talk about processed meats first. Things like bacon, sausage, and deli slices might taste good, but they're often loaded with sodium and preservatives that raise blood pressure and increase your risk of heart disease. Instead, try swapping them out for lean proteins like chicken, turkey, or plant-based alternatives. Your heart and your taste buds will adjust faster than you think. As we continue, I want to share a story about someone who made these changes and saw incredible results. It's a reminder that no matter where you are in life, it's never too late to take control of your health. Let me tell you about my friend Ed. Now, Ed's always been the kind of guy who loves his routines. Coffee every morning, a crossword puzzle with lunch, and a thick ham sandwich for dinner. But a few years ago, he started noticing something wasn't quite right. He'd get winded walking from the car to the grocery store. His ankles would swell up after sitting for too long. And one day, he even felt this strange heaviness in his chest that made him pause mid-sentence during a conversation. Ed went to the doctor, and thankfully, it wasn't anything serious yet. But his doctor did warn him, if you don't make some changes now, your heart might not keep up with the life you want to live. That hit home for Ed. He didn't want to slow down. He wanted to stay active, travel, spend time with his grandkids. He wanted to feel like himself. So he decided to start small. Instead of his usual ham sandwich, he switched to turkey slices and added a side of spinach salad. He swapped out his afternoon chips for a handful of walnuts. And instead of pouring himself a second cup of coffee in the afternoon, he reached for a bowl of fresh berries. At first, Ed thought these changes were so tiny they wouldn't matter. But within weeks, he noticed something surprising. He had more energy. The tightness in his chest didn't come back. Even his golf game improved because he wasn't getting tired as quickly. It was like his body and his heart were thanking him for finally paying attention. Now, I share this story not because I expect everyone to overhaul their diets overnight, but because it shows how powerful, small, consistent changes can be. You don't have to give up everything you love. You just need to be mindful about what you're putting into your body and how it affects your heart. Which brings us to another big culprit when it comes to damaging your heart: sugary drinks. This one probably won't surprise you, but it's worth talking about because so many people underestimate just how harmful these can be. Sodas, sweet teas, even those fancy flavored waters. They're all loaded with sugar that spikes your blood sugar levels and contributes to weight gain. Over time, that extra weight puts strain on your heart, making it harder for it to do its job. Here's the thing, I'm not saying you can never enjoy a treat again. Life is about balance after all. But if you're regularly reaching for sugary drinks, consider swapping them out for healthier options. Sparkling water with a splash of lemon or lime can satisfy that craving for fizz without the sugar crash. Herbal teas are another great choice. They're hydrating, comforting, and often caffeine-free. And plain old water? It's still the best thing you can drink for your heart. Finally, let's talk about trans fats. Now, you might remember hearing a lot about these a few years ago when food labels started listing them. Trans fats are artificial fats found in fried foods, baked goods, and some margarines. They're cheap to produce and help extend shelf life, which is why they've been used in processed foods for decades. But here's the problem. Trans fats clog your arteries and raise bad cholesterol while lowering the good kind. In other words, they're basically kryptonite for your heart. The good news is that many companies have removed trans fats from their products in recent years, but they're still lurking in some places, so it's important to read labels carefully. Look for phrases like partially hydrogenated oils and steer clear of anything that contains them. Instead, focus on healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, and nuts. These not only taste great, but also provide essential nutrients your heart needs to thrive. As we ease into the next part of our conversation, I want to emphasize something really important. Making these dietary changes isn't just about avoiding diseases or adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. It's about feeling strong enough to chase your passions, whether that's gardening, painting, hiking, or simply enjoying quality time with loved ones. So let's talk about how you can take these ideas and turn them into habits that stick. Because knowing what to eat is one thing, but actually doing it consistently, that's where the magic happens. Let's talk about how to make these changes feel less like a chore and more like second nature. Because let's be honest, no one wants to feel like they're depriving themselves or constantly fighting cravings. The key is to focus on adding, not subtracting. Instead of thinking, I can't have this, think, what can I add that will make me feel good? For example, if you love snacking but find yourself reaching for chips or cookies, try keeping a bowl of fresh fruit on your counter. Something as simple as an apple or a handful of grapes can satisfy that need for crunch or sweetness without weighing you down later. Or if you're someone who enjoys savory snacks, roasted chickpeas or lightly salted almonds are fantastic alternatives. They're satisfying, flavorful, and packed with nutrients your heart loves. Meal prep is another game changer. I know it sounds intimidating, but hear me out. It doesn't have to mean spending hours in the kitchen every Sunday. Start small. Cook a big batch of oatmeal at the beginning of the week so you can reheat it each morning. Toss together a big salad with leafy greens, nuts, and berries that you can portion out for lunches. Even something as simple as pre-cutting vegetables and storing them in the fridge can save you time and make healthy eating easier. And here's a little secret. Flavor matters. One reason people struggle with healthy eating is because they assume it has to be bland or boring, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Spices, herbs, and healthy sauces can transform even the simplest ingredients into something delicious. Try sprinkling cinnamon on your oatmeal, drizzling olive oil over roasted vegetables, or marinating salmon in lemon juice and garlic before baking it. These small touches make all the difference, and they keep you excited about eating well. Now let's talk about mindset. Changing your diet isn't just about what you eat. It's also about how you approach food. Think about meals as an opportunity to nourish your body and show yourself some love. When you sit down to eat, slow down. Savor each bite. Pay attention to how different foods make you feel. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns, like how walnuts give you sustained energy, or how sugary snacks leave you feeling sluggish. This awareness makes it easier to choose foods that support your health. Another thing to keep in mind is that progress isn't perfect. There will be days when life gets busy or you indulge in something you know isn't ideal. That's okay. What matters most is consistency over time. If you eat well 80% of the time, those occasional treats won't derail your efforts. And honestly, giving yourself permission to enjoy life's pleasures guilt-free can actually help you stick to healthier habits in the long run. Speaking of sticking to habits, let's circle back to Ed for a moment. Remember how he started small? Well, after a few months of making those gradual changes, he realized something amazing. He wasn't just tolerating his new routine, he was enjoying it. He found recipes he loved, discovered new favorite snacks, and even started sharing his journey with friends. One of them, a woman named Carol, decided to join him. Together, they started experimenting with heart-healthy dishes and cheering each other on. That sense of community made all the difference. It reminded me of something important. You don't have to do this alone. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or even an online group, having someone to share your experience with can make the process feel less daunting and more fun. So if there's someone in your life who might benefit from these tips, invite them along for the ride. Cook a meal together, swap recipes, or simply check in with each other. You'd be surprised how much encouragement can fuel your motivation. As we wrap up our conversation, I want to leave you with one final thought. Taking care of your heart isn't just about avoiding problems. It's about creating possibilities. Every step you take toward better health opens doors to new experiences, new connections, and new joys. Imagine being able to play tag with your grandkids without feeling winded. Picture yourself taking a long walk through the park, breathing deeply, and feeling truly alive. These aren't just dreams. They're achievable realities, and they start with the choices you make today. So whether it's swapping out processed meats for lean proteins, sipping sparkling water instead of soda, or tossing a handful of berries into your morning yogurt, know that every choice counts. And remember, you're worth the effort. Your heart has worked hard for you all these years. It deserves nothing less than the best care you can give it. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. I hope you found it helpful, inspiring, and maybe even a little empowering. If you did, please consider sharing this video with someone else who might benefit from it. Let's spread the word about how simple, thoughtful changes can lead to a healthier, happier life. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your hearts.